Hey, this is section Introduction to HTML. In this section, we will have a couple of lectures, and in this video, we will cover what is HTML. We will try to answer the question. So to start from theoretical point of view, or from definition, HTML stands for Hypertext Markup Language and is basically a standard language used to create and design documents in the internet. HTML is basically the backbone of the internet. You can see while browsing the websites every day. It allows us to create content on our site, like headings, paragraphs, lists, links, images, audio, video, and much more, which we'll be learning during this course. If we really want to be very much in detail, this is actually a markup language, which is different than programming language, but for now you don't really need to know the difference. You just need to remember that that's a markup, that's a language. In fact, just remember that's a language, still a language that defines the structure and layout of web content. So in simple words, it allows you to create websites. We can start with a very small history. HTML already has a few decades. On this timeline, you can see how it evolved. It started already at the beginning of 90s when a researcher, Tim Berners-Lee, has been working in a research facility in Switzerland. Maybe you have heard about him from different sources, about the person who had a crucial contribution towards creating the internet we know and we use nowadays. And HTML started also in 90s. It has been initially created to help the scientists sharing information across different departments, but also institutes, universities. But over years, it of course evolved a lot, and later it was version 2.0, which was the first standardized one. It had the core features of HTML we still know today. Then we actually, version 3 dropped somewhere on the way. The next serious one was 4.01, I'm sorry. It came with a couple of improvements about modern web design. Next was XHTML. Maybe you have heard about XML, and basically this was kind of a hybrid version between HTML that time and XML, which offered the developers a bit more strict rules so they could create basically a better code. And later, or still now, I should say, we have HTML5. It has lots of it came with lots of support for multimedia, audio, video, graphics, mobile, but also accessibility. We'll cover these features later in this course. Lastly, it's good to mention about the organizations working on the standardization of HTML. Those are World Wide Web Consortium, known as W3C, just another acronym. And Web Hypertext Application Technology Working Group. You can basically find the acronym everywhere, which is WWG. And that's it. What is really essential to know, in my opinion. You can of course dig deeper about the history of HTML, but now I'm moving towards understanding the role of HTML in web development, because it can be very confusing. What is HTML? What is the web development? What is CSS? What is JavaScript at the beginning? And how those interact with each other. So we start with HTML, which is basically the backbone of the internet, and is also a backbone of a web development. However, HTML itself is not too beautiful. That's why we need CSS, which in full name is cascading style sheets. CSS allows you to beautify your HTML, change the fonts, make some nice animations, colors, etc. etc. We will cover a bit of CSS later on. HTML and CSS are very much playing together, so even though this course is about only HTML, we need to dig into CSS in the basic range. And then comes JavaScript. JavaScript adds interactions to our sites, so without JavaScript we cannot basically talk to the web page. So every time a website is asking you for some kind of data, and then you submit the data, or there is some kind of fancy animation, even though it can be used in conjunction with CSS, or there is some calculations going on the website, giving you some kind of estimate, for example, for different cost services, but also integrations with different services, like with payments. This will be done with JavaScript. And this combination of those three, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, is basically essential for every web application, which is a bit different than a static web page. It's a rich web application, which all those three combined are creating, and they are also part of basically what we called at the domain web development. With those three, you can create everything. You can create blogs, static portfolio websites, e-commerce sites, complex interactive platforms, almost whatever you can think about in the internet, you can create in theory with those three. In practice, sometimes we use something called framework or libraries, but I will come to that later. It's also important to mention web browsers. I will be using in this course Chrome, but there are also Firefox, Safari, Microsoft Edge, Opera, there was Internet Explorer, or for some corporate sites it's still there occasionally, and there are some more niche browsers. It's important to understand that there are some differences between those, but don't dig deeply into that. Last year we are seeing standardization across how HTML and CSS and JavaScript are being interpreted by the browsers. What you can see basically that for some of the browsers, some standards, some parts of HTML standards are being implemented earlier, for some later, and basically and that's it what you need to know. For now, just know that there are different browsers and there are some differences which at the early stage you won't notice, but it's good to be aware on those, because browsers is not only desktop, it's also mobile. There are also browsers, and they are also being very helpful, for crucial actually, to render the HTML. Enough about theory. I will have a very small example about HTML, and here we have 11 lines of code. I structured the course in such a way that this line I will be talking about will be highlighted. So we start with, we'll start with line 1. Line 1 is about declaring the document. So we declare that it will be HTML. So the browser is aware. Then we have HTML tag. Every special keyword is called tag. So this is HTML tag called HTML. It has a property language and value in English, for English. So we simply say to the browsers, hey, this is HTML and it's supposed to be in English. Every HTML tag will have a closing tag, and this is the closing tag on the line 11. So in total, between those lines 2 and 11, we have the entire logic of our very first HTML page. And the page starts with a head tag. It has also closing tag, and between line 3 and 6 there is the logic for the head. In head we have a meta. It might be difficult at the beginning, but for now just save that it's meta charset UTF-8. It basically tells the browser to use the encoding, the right encoding. In simple words, all special local languages characters can be correctly displayed if we have this. And a title. So this is a title, my first HTML page. Maybe you have noticed, but here there is it's so-called self-closing tag. We can close the tag also with the dash and right arrow, and it's basically the same like I would write meta like you have here. It's the same. And in title, I can also close the tag in the same line. So sometimes this is also what you will also see. Why I structured it that or that? So in this example on line 5, basically for the purpose of what is easier to explain, or how I want to explain particular line of code. That's how I structure it, but you can do it like a head or like a body. Later on there will be programs which will auto format the code for you, which by the way did also for me. Anyway, we have also a body. Body has also a closing tag, and anything between line 7 and 10 is part of a body tag. In body we have the essential part of the applications, the most content always there, but for our application there is only a H1, which stands for heading 1. Heading 1 is the largest heading you can have on a website, and basically with using this special keyword H1 you have a larger heading which has a very small bit of styling without CSS. And then we have the most popular tag for text, which is a P, stands for paragraph, and this is called, this is my first HTML page. I will open something called CodeSandbox I prepared for you. You can just click it, and when you open this you will see hello world, which is this part, and you will also see this is my first HTML page, which is this part, as you can notice. And maybe if you are sharp, you can see my first HTML page. This is a title, so this is also what you can see here. Anyway, each time you click this yellow button, after, if you need to have an account on CodeSandbox, you'll be able to edit this page without setting an environment. So I can do it like this. I can do it like this, and then I will be here. You can see. Yeah. But why I did before? Basically, if I refresh the page, I did the title, which is not the easiest example, so sorry for that. But that's how you can play with CodeSandboxes. So you don't need to set up locally anything. You can just click what I will deliver you. It's much simpler. The only one part you have to do, you need to create a CodeSandbox account, which is of course free of use. And for this section, that's everything. I hope you got the grasp. And in the next one, we'll be setting up the environment. See you there.